There was something wild and wonderful about growing up in the 1970s. Kids played outside till the streetlights came on, drank from garden hoses, and rode bikes without helmets. And when it came to toys, well, let's just say safety wasn't exactly top of mind. Back then, the more dangerous a toy seemed, the more fun it probably was. Sharp edges, choking hazards, flammable parts, it was all just part of the adventure. But looking back today, it's hard not to wonder how we made it out in one piece. So today, we're opening the toy chest of the past and looking at 10 toys from the 70s that would be banned today. Number 1. Lawn darts. These weren't your average darts, they were giant metal missiles you threw across the yard. The goal was to land them in a plastic ring, but all too often, they landed dangerously close to heads and feet. Kids loved the thrill, but emergency rooms hated them. By the late 80s, after dozens of serious injuries and even a few deaths, lawn darts were officially banned in the US. But if you grew up with them, you remember the rush and the risk. Number 2. Clacker. 2 hard acrylic balls on a string that kids would swing up and down until they smacked together with a loud clack clack clack. The trick was to get them moving fast without bruising your hands or your face. The plastic balls could sometimes shatter on impact, sending sharp pieces flying. Despite the danger, they were one of the hottest toys of the early 70s. Today, they'd never make it past safety testing, but back then, they were mesmerizing. Number 3. Creepy Crawlers Thingmaker. Imagine a toy that let kids heat liquid plastic in a metal mold, using a real electric hot plate. That was the Thingmaker. It let you cook up rubbery bugs and creatures, but the metal plates got extremely hot. Burns were common, and melted goo wasn't much fun to clean up. Still, it felt like magic to create your own monster, even if it came with blisters. Number 4. Kenner's Easy Bake Oven. It looked harmless, a little oven where you could bake cakes using a light bulb. But that bulb got hot enough to cause serious burns. The oven doors were small, the trays were metal, and curious fingers often paid the price. Later versions added more safety features, but those early models were like a real oven in miniature. And for many kids, it was their first taste of cooking and risk. Number 5. Battlestar Galactica Missile Firing Toys. In the late 70s, space toys were huge, especially ones that could shoot things. Kenner's Battlestar Galactica ships came with spring-loaded missiles that kids could fire across the room. Unfortunately, those tiny plastic missiles were just the right size to get lodged in a throat. After a tragic choking incident, the missile firing feature was quickly removed. But for a while, those toys were every young space commander's dream. Number 6. Slap bracelets. Okay, technically these took off in the late 80s, but they first appeared in the late 70s. A thin strip of metal covered in fabric that wrapped around your wrist with a satisfying snap. Kids loved them, but problems started when the fabric wore off and the sharp metal inside cut people. Eventually, schools started banning them, and safer versions were made, but that original version, not so wrist-friendly. Number 7. The Wheelie Bar Skateboard. Long before safety gear became the norm, kids rode skateboards barefoot or in flip-flops. The wheelie bar was an add-on that let you pop the front wheels and ride on the back, a trick that looked cool but caused countless crashes. There were no helmets, no pads, just scraped knees and a lot of limping. It taught balance, for sure, but also pain. Number 8. Super Elastic Bubble Plastic. This wasn't your average bubble-blowing toy. It came with a little tube of colorful goop and a straw. Kids would squeeze the plastic out, blow into the straw, and create a balloon that hardened into a rubbery bubble. The problem? The fumes were incredibly toxic. The glue-like smell filled the room, and inhaling through the straw could be dangerous. Still, the bubbles were fascinating, until parents caught a whiff. Number 9. Chemistry sets with real chemicals. Today's science kits are fun and educational, but in the 70s, chemistry sets often came with real, dangerous chemicals. You could mix up minor explosions, stain your fingers for days, or accidentally ruin the kitchen counter. Kids loved the sense of discovery, but many had no idea what they were really playing with. Over time, safety laws tightened, and the kits became tamer. But for many, it was their first taste of mad science. Number 10. Whammo Air Blaster. This toy looked like a sci-fi cannon, and kind of acted like one. It blasted a powerful puff of air that could knock over cups or ruffle hair from across the room. But kids quickly figured out how to load it with other stuff, ping pong balls, marbles, even rocks. It wasn't made for that, of course, but once the mischief started, injuries followed. Still, it was the kind of toy that made kids feel like superheroes. Last, the toys of the 1970s were creative, exciting, and sometimes downright dangerous. They were made in a time when kids were expected to learn from their mistakes, and sometimes their bruises. Sure, they wouldn't pass today's safety tests, but they sure made for unforgettable childhood memories. If this video brought back a few wild stories, give it a like. Share your favorite risky toy in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more trips back in time.